not as crazy as we're portraying them to be. And so it was sort of out of anger that I went. And I don't know if Stephen Crowley's still here, but he mentioned something in the first or second light table chat about starting in the town square and then branching out.
Yep.
And so I sort of took that idea as well with this set of images. So it's a loose essay. I think I'll be working on this for like years to come to the next election. I think it'll have a place then. So I'll jump through. And if you guys have any, if you have any feedback or questions, I'm open to anything.
And that brings up a good point. We should have brought this stuff up during the light table. We hit the town square idea early on a few months ago to sort of get people out there looking from their center, their communities out. And I'm glad you're doing this, because this is exactly one of those concepts that's going to be perfect 100 years from now. You're going to look back on these images and think about that. Think about this as being a snapshot in time of a unique time.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Wow.
And I wanted to capture, I didn't really want to tell anybody anything. I wanted to try and show like the emotional landscape as well, and how the elections took a toll on the emotional landscape. Yins is a Pittsburgh thing. I don't know if you guys know yins.
I've never heard of yins. What is yins?
It means like you all. It's like y'all kind of.
Yins. I get it. Wow.
Yeah, that the county was like, it has 111,000 registered Republicans and 106,000 registered Democrats, and then like 8,000 registered independents. And so like you would see scenes like this where people in the same household would be supporting different candidates, which was really interesting.
That's a nice image right there.
Thanks. Yeah, homecoming king crowned.
Well, that image won back. I mean, I don't want to read too much into it, but having that guy staring right at you, the photographer, the journalist, and he's halfway on with his mask, and I'm reading too much into it, but at the point in time that we are, that is that stare is almost like the fake news. What are you doing? It's that where we are, and that's what I got from that picture almost immediately. It was like that resentment to the media, and that's not probably what you're going after on this project and this essay, but that is what I was seeing there. And
Yeah.
I've not, I mean, I've seen a lot of angry photos of people at rallies yelling and screaming and throwing the fist, but I haven't seen a picture quite like that yet of
Mm.
just America going about their business, but someone standing there just fuming. And
Yeah.
that resonated right there. That was pretty, pretty strong.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure Jack, you know, too, like covering rallies, especially Trump rallies, are super dicey, um, and people will like, they will express their beliefs and opinions. Um, I mean, I've had sort of close calls, and my father too um, has made some gnarly images at Trump rallies, and I'm sure you have as well.
So, with this collection, right now, what would you call this essay? What would you say that this essay is?
It's sort of like it started out political, but it's become more of like a sense of place of Westmoreland County, Pennsylvania. It's a place where there are a lot of single issue voters, and you know, mainly like gun rights or um, religious rights, and these are folks that are mainly working class, and they want to go to work every day and then retire and then get their uh, social security and pension, and then you know, chill out for the rest of their lives. And I wanted to show that in a way. I'm not sure quite where it's going, and so that's why I was looking for any sort of feedback that anyone had. And I have a lot more images too. I have taken a break in the last 3 weeks just because, if you saw, there aren't many people wearing masks, and I just wanted to
Yeah.
be super careful.
But that's the thing. That's the important thing, I think, especially as a photographer who's so in depth. That's where we might not have the answer, and our answers might be the one like, oh yeah, I got it, yeah, whatever. But you need to be thinking, and it will come to you. What are you going to accomplish with this, and where's my angle? Because at this point, you just keep continuing with no direction. You do
Mm-hmm.
have a direction, but you're going to have to. I look at these images and I see a bunch of directions. I see the flag, I see America, I see all this resonating at once and it's boiling up. And to really edit this and to tighten it up at, a year from now when there's another 3,000 images, how are you going to do that and to have a focus? And the
Sure.
focus doesn't have to be tight. It doesn't have to be like, I'm going to photograph everything with a small flag in it from here on out.
Right.
That could be a great focus, but
Mhm.
finding something that you want to achieve out of this that you can sum up in a mission statement or
Yeah, I've been I mean, you know, Justin Merriman. He's like a dear friend of mine, and my mentor. And so he's from Westmoreland County, so he's been giving me a lot of direction on this project. And I think what we've come to in the conclusion is it's like we are witnessing the end of one presidency, and in 1 year the campaigning will start again. And what will that look like? And so I'm sort of like trying to photograph like the end of one legacy into the next, and so on and so forth. Um, that's
so
about the only direction I had so far, though.
as much as this is that county, this is America. So
Yeah.
that one picture of Biden Trump signs, that is in a nutshell what 50% of America looks like on one side and then the other side. And
Mhm.
you have a start with this collection of images that is basically your baseline, your B-roll. You have B-roll going on if you're talking video. All these elements that basically will cover your words, your narrative. And now you can start writing the story. You can start
Yeah.
photographing the story. And how do
Right.
you want to do that? Is that through one single person? Is that through continuing to do what you're doing? Um, you know, you can follow two or three different storylines as well as you do this.
Mhm.
And that's probably what I would end up doing if I was
Right.
this deep. But you got to focus on each of those three stories or five stories.
Exactly. And that I can't remember who it was. It was maybe Justin. you look at like a National Geographic story and they have all of these little pieces that add to a sense of place, but there are these little vignettes or little stories within that all tie together. And I'm
Absolutely.
slowly putting that together. Like I made some friends in New Kensington, which New Kensington is where they created aluminum, and it was like this booming town, and now uh, there's not a whole lot there. But they're all from like Guatemala or Mexico, Peru, and you know they love America so much, but their neighbors won't even talk to them because, I mean, for one, they're not white, uh, and they don't speak very their English isn't very great. But they're like the nicest folks in the whole world who would, do anything for you. And it just drives me crazy. Like you just see that like neighbor to neighbor, this divide in America right now. And it's upsetting. It's
Well,
really
that's
upsetting.
where, I mean, looking at Kathleen's staff work from tonight, that one vignette of this one family,
Mhm.
that look how important that collection and spending that amount of time with that one singular family. But they have B-roll. They have all these other amazing photographs um, to go to filter down if they were doing this. If they were throwing all 6 or 7 of those essays together in one big storyline to publish online, they would have natural, standalone images that would be um, like what you have of what it looks like overall in the county. But spending some time with some of those people, that family you were just talking about, and
Mhm.
then think of it as a National Geographic essay where you'll have a standalone story of that family,
Mhm.
but in the end, what's going to happen? It's going to distill down to 3 or 4 images if it was published with everything else.
Yeah,
But you
I'm
have
sort
those
of going
options.
in. Like I have to go into these specific stories with the idea that I only need like one picture that's gonna say it all, or two, even three at the most. Because I don't want to like inundate people with too many pictures.
But that's the thing. I would look at it as shooting each one of these stories as a standalone, but knowing in back of your mind that I'm honestly going to pull 2 or 3 images out of it.
Yep.
Uh, but gosh, the picture of the Trump supporters on that moody, wide hillside kind of. I think Galen was asking. Is that the picture you're asking about, Galen? Um,
Yeah.
that's a really nice image. That's kind of the same mood as the and the theme as the folks at the football game. But
Hmm.
each of these photos, as you go, you'll be able to edit down to these little tidbit moments that stand alone images. If they were singles, they're as strong as any image going.
Hmm.
Um, like the king with this hat, and each one of these images, if they can stand alone as themselves as a strong of image that you can possibly pull out of this as an award winner, and combine those into a gallery or an essay on down the road.
Yeah.
Wow. But I think the theme to focus what you want to do. I mean, you don't have to come up with it in the photographs, but what you want to achieve, whether it's that headline of "This is America" in such
Right.
and such county, but just keep hitting it.
Yeah. I feel like I'm always just like stumbling along, seeing what I can find, but I need to put. I mean, I know that I need to be more directional, more decisive, maybe not decisive, but intentional.
So that's the thing. You become more intentional, more decisive, but here's the thing. I mean, it's so arbitrary.
Yeah.
You do that, but then you also like, but I don't want to focus on anything exactly right now. I want to move here and move there. Um, I you try to explain that, and it's just like you're throwing. It's like just speak like you're trying to say something just to sound like you know what you're saying,
Right.
but they're you have to focus, um, but do it in a way that you know that you're going to break that focus and break your rules. Um,
Sure.
Just put
And
yourself
I
out
mean,
there and not think about it.
like I said earlier, like I think what's most important to me is that I don't necessarily want to tell anybody anything. Um, I want to show them in a way.
So look at that story that Kathleen showed tonight. They weren't showing anybody anything, but they achieved in that story. And I don't know if you saw it or not, but
Mhm.
those images that showed the mother that, most people come with a bias and they look at those images and they're like, oh, I know where this story is going. And it's like,
Mhm.
you look at these images, and if you look at them as a viewer, you're like, wow, this family, they're tight. They're
Yeah.
working together. They are something that I'm not doing that. I'm not reaching these levels of dedication and commitment to making this work that they are. Why am I not doing this? And
Mhm.
then seeing her pivot, and while she's still struggling, I'm like, that is a remarkable story. They're
Yeah.
not trying to tell us anything, hit me over the head, do better, do better. But that story resonated.
Yeah. I
Wow.
think the one image of the boy waiting at the window was like that image was like remarkable. I think that it said a whole lot, even without showing a whole lot.
I
So
wish we
that's
could have
sort of what
talked.
I want to achieve.
I wish we could have talked more about that story just picture by picture, because
Yeah.
we did actually last Tuesday. We all sat there and she brought this up, and I'm like, well, why are we not showing this at the light table? She's like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
that's a good idea. But the picture of the kid at the window is what everyone saw as the lead image.
Yeah,
And I was
definitely.
like, man, as a parent, that picture that I think would resonate with me and with other parents is him coming outside and screaming.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's a strong image. It didn't make their cut. It wasn't even in the edit that was published. Um, so your strong images or those important images, they may or may not make it, just
True.
when it comes down to it. But I'm glad that picture's there because, ooh, that's an important photograph. Um,
Mm-hmm.
what do you guys? Anybody else see anything that they liked about Michael's work there? Galen, Whitney.
I
Yeah.
actually have a question. Hi, Michael.
Hey.
Hi. First of all, I loved the whole piece, but my favorite was the one of the house with the opposing signs. And I wanted to ask you, did you knock on the door and like talk to them?
I didn't actually, and I guess I don't have a great excuse. Besides, I was super I was really rusty at that point. That was my first day of sort of shooting for this project, and like I was getting used to talking to people again because I'd sort of been like sheltered away, and I just didn't go knock on their door. I still could. The folks that live in that town are so nice, but the virus again is like kind of
Well, it
scary.
already sounds like you gain their trust. Next time, like, I mean, if you're able to like follow them around in the town during the day and you walk around with the Trump supporter in the morning and then Biden supporter in the afternoon, they meet up at the bar and then they, go wherever, like looking at your story, especially like you're thinking of like different movie scenes and like the main scene would be the house with the diametrically opposed signs and then like you go through. I don't know if that's making sense, Jack, but anyway, I just thought
Oh
I'd
yeah,
ask
Yeah,
that.
oh
I
yeah.
know exactly what you mean.
Well, Michael was one of the residents down at Boyd Station the first year we had a residency program, and his work is always very thoughtful and very. You look around the edges and the corners of the images, and there's always meaning to something, and it's that work that is actually grown in my mind. When I see this work tonight, um, more people with moments. I mean, the kid with the crown, the way you composed that and cropped it, and that is what what's going on. You don't have to be hit over the head to say it's a homecoming, but you see it. But then your eye goes past that so quickly and goes into the stand, and you're seeing these people's faces and you're seeing these masks, And that's where the real magic's happening in that image. And with the two hunting images, where the dad and the probably the son or whatever that was, but the one really the nice image was the dragging the carcass out of the van with the hand. Again, you don't see the body, but you see the body of the man dragging it, but you know who's there. You see it, and it's in the corners. And those are the subtle, that's your theme. And when you see a generic photograph of, two people standing hunting or something like that, it sort of sits out of place of all these other very nice, composed, thoughtful, deep detail images. Oh, Wade's getting pajamas on. Hope he doesn't.
What's up, Wade?
I'm gonna go and swim.
But that, I think you have these beautiful images that have a story behind each one, and that's where your big win is here every step of the way. Now, that is, if I was doing this, that was my Todd Heisler theme going on. I just build on that success that you've already got going. That is great.
Thanks.
I mean,
Appreciate it.
there's some really nice images in that already. Is that Stephanie?
Yeah,
What's up, dude?
Stephanie?
I'm so tired.
Did you see Michael's work that he just presented?
No.
That's pretty nice. You'll have to get him to send you a batch of it, but it's really nice.
Absolutely, absolutely. Can I tell you all a great news? I was just real quick. It has to be between only us, okay?
Hold it. I'm recording.
Never mind. Never mind. You're gonna post it too, so I'll just tell you later.
Okay.
Oh, what the heck?
News. That's why. And
Stop recording. She's got to tell us now. It's
Okay.
much of a hook.
We will cease recording for a moment. So for this one moment, we're going to go on hold.